Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Grow in Financial Abundance with Bo Sanchez webinar. Please ensure you are connected to audio. You can reconnect at any time using the audio options in the toolbar. You've been muted to prevent background noise from being disruptive, so please place yourselves on mute. A question and answer session will take place at the end of the webinar, at which time you will be unmuted. If you would like to contribute to discussion or ask a question while muted, please use the chat box on the right-hand side of your screen and click Send. So those are just some of the reminders. In this live webinar training, employees will be educated on removing poverty mindset and creating an abundance mindset. The goal is to have a healthier relationship with money. Secondly, to learn how to be committed to your dreams. Third, to take responsibility and be the script writer of your life. So, Brother Bo Sanchez is a best selling author of more than 60 books. He's founded many ministries that help the poorest of the poor, such as Anawim, a special home for the abandoned elderly, Grace to be Born, a center for pregnant women in crisis. Bo started a media ministry, a counseling ministry, and a community called Light of Jesus Family that's found in 30 countries. Privately, Bo also started a Truly Rich Club that has helped thousands learn financial stewardship, and Catholic Filipino Academy homeschooling to help parents teach their kids at home. Bo is also an entrepreneur to support his family. In this way, for many years now, he has refused to be paid a salary from his ministries. He also donates his book royalties to the mission. Above all these, Bo believes that his first call from God is to be a loving husband to his wife, Marui, and a devoted father to his sons, Benedict and Francis. They live in Manila, Philippines. Again, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's welcome Brother Bo Sanchez.
Thank you so much. This is a great privilege that I have in front of you here, just to be able to share some thoughts. And let me see if I can share my content, my PowerPoint with you today. Let's see if this is at all possible. Okay, I'm having a little difficulty. Um, share my PowerPoint. Woohoo. Wow, 113 of you are here. Okay. Thank you so much for coming. I will go right ahead. Um, I'm having a difficult time sharing content. Okay, I'll do it without the PowerPoint then. It is with great joy that I am here with you today. And I will be talking about something that I've been talking about for the past 20 plus years. Now, I don't know if I look very old to you, but I am. uh, I am 55 years old. And I started as a missionary when I was 13 years old. So that was pretty long time ago. I was 13 years old when I came to know Jesus at the very personal way. And then after that, I started preaching, would you believe? And then right after that, I started serving the poor. I remember reading the story of Saint Francis of Assisi, and it changed my life, like incredibly so. And what happened? What happened was this. I said to myself, you know, this guy's wild. Like Francis of Assisi. Do you know him? I hope you kind of like know who this guy is. And he just so inspired me so much. What I did was I got all my clothes. Remember, I was 14 years old. I got all my clothes from my closet, and then I gave them to the street kids in EDSA. Like just gave them away without asking permission from my mom, would you believe? And so my mother one day goes into my bedroom, opens the closet, and she discovers that my clothes were not there. And you know, she looked at me and she said, Bo, where are your clothes? And I said, you know, with an angelic face, I gave them to the poor. And she said, what? And that was not the craziest thing I did. I started bringing home street kids uh, to the house. And I told my mom, they're going to live with us. And my mom said, oh no, what have I done? You know, you see, what my mom did was she started bringing me to a prayer meeting, a Catholic prayer meeting. It changed my life. And then that was when she introduced me to the book of St. Francis of Assisi, and it changed my life again. And I wanted to love the poor. And by that was not the worst thing. The worst thing I did was, you know, later on, I brought home an old man from EDSA, like covered in grease, like really, really, you know, hasn't taken a bath for years. And I said, Mom, he's gonna live with us, you know, this old man. And my mom said, oh no, no, bro, no, Bo, no, he can't stay with us. And I said, Mom, look, the street kid that I always bring home, he's gonna stay in my room. This old man, he's gonna stay in your room. I was pretty wild, but when I was 15 years old, you know, if I'm probably there's some moms here right now, and if you are a mother, would you allow your 15-year-old boy to do this? I asked permission from my mom if I could stay in a slum area and just do ministry work there, like knock on doors and share about God to them. So I told my mom, I'm gonna live there. Is that okay? And if you're a mother, would you allow your 15-year-old boy to do that? Do you know what my mom did? She allowed me. She said, on one condition. And I said, what's that, Mom? And she said, don't bring them home. And so I was doing ministry work in the squatters area at the age of 15, 16, 17, 18. You know, my whole teenage life, and in my 20s, I was just serving the poor, and I was loving it. That was my life. From the age of 13 all the way until the age of 30 years old. And in my mind, I was telling myself, I'm gonna be a missionary. I'm gonna be celibate. I'm not gonna get married. I'm gonna serve God, you know. And so I was poor and I was happy. My retirement plan at that time was this. I would be an old man and I would sleep in the sidewalk, you know, with a newspaper as my blanket. That was my retirement plan. And I said, I don't need money. I was happy. I was serving God. I was preaching. I was working with the poor. But then something happened when I was 30 years old. At the age of 30, I went through a discernment process, went to a retreat up in a mountain for 7 days with nothing else with me except a Bible in one hand and a wise Jesuit priest in the other, who guided me in that retreat. And then after that retreat, it was very clear in my mind I was going to get married, but I will still serve the Lord and give my life to God. And so that transformed my life. At the age of 30, I decided I was not just going to be a missionary. I was going to get married. I was going to be a husband. I was going to be a father. And well, if I was going to have kids, I needed to change my retirement plan. Okay, my retirement plan was not going to be was not going to be sleeping in a sidewalk as an old man with newspapers. I could not tell my wife or my kids, my future wife and my future kids, oh halika, matulog na tayo. Let's all sleep in the sidewalk. O, ikaw yung sports section, ikaw anak yung entertainment page, ako yung business section, matulog na tayo. You know, I had to change my plans and I had to work on my finances because I said to myself, no, I can't. So I had to work on my finances. This was my problem. I knew nothing about money. Zero. Nothing whatsoever. I didn't know anything about, you know, savings account. I did not know anything about bonds, mutual funds. What is that? I'll tell you why. Because I was a missionary, remember? St. Francis of Assisi mindset, you know, celibate. Here was the problem. I thought money was evil. I thought money was bad. I thought business was, something that you do if you're far away from God. That if you're close to God, you're supposed to not think about money. This was me, Bo Sanchez, for almost 20 years. The first 20 years of from the age of 13 to the age of 30. So about 17 years. I want you to know that all that had to change. I'll tell you why. Number one, because I was gonna get married, right? I wanted to get married. Number two was this. Everywhere I went, and maybe you can identify with this. Everywhere I went, and I would preach about prayer, about the Bible, about salvation, or whatever, whatever I'm gonna be preaching on. After the preaching, people in the audience, they will come up to me and they'll ask for prayer. Pray for this, pray for that, pray for this, pray for that. Do you know that 50% of the time, guess what the prayers were all about? Guess what petitions they asked me to pray for? Can you guess? Absolutely. It was about, Brother Bo, we have debts. Brother Bo, may utang ako, paano magbayad? Brother Bo, ang dami-dami ng bills, konti lang yung pera namin, what should I do? Brother Bo, may problema. And so, it's all about finances, 50% of the time. And I knew nothing about money, like zero. And so what do I do when they ask me to pray for their, when they tell me about their problems in their financial life? I just said, sige, dasalin natin. That was all I could do. And then something happened, somewhere there, the age of 30. This turned my life around, because my heart was getting crushed, because here were these people that were asking for help financially, like even just advice. But sometimes not advice. Sometimes they're telling me, Brother Bo, kailangan ko ng pera. Yung tatay ko nasa ospital, hindi makalabas-labas kasi kulang ng pera. And so there I was. I'm saying, oh gosh, what am I going to do? I have nothing to share because I was poor, like them, except the difference was that I was single and they had a family. So there was this one time. By the way, just want to greet all of you. Are you happy? Abbott Rapid Diagnostics, are you happy being here? Thank you so much for being here. I'm very, very happy to be here. Let me tell you this story that changed my life, okay, in the area of finances. So after one prayer meeting, I gave it a talk, and then I was 30 years old. And then this woman comes up to me with her daughter, and I was holding her hand. I'm sorry, the mother was holding the daughter's hand. And then she comes up to me and she says, Brother Bo, can you pray for me? And I said, yes, what can I pray for you? And she said, she gave out this deep, big sigh. And then she said, I've been praying and praying and praying for tuition fee, for tuition money for my daughter. Hindi pa dumarating, Brother Bo. And then she said, my daughter might miss a whole year. And can you just pray, Brother Bo, na sana dumating na yung pera? So, out of curiosity, before I prayed for her, I asked, magkano ba kailangan mo? And then very embarrassed, she said, naku, Brother Bo, nakakahiya ang sasabihin ko sa iyo. She said, 700 pesos lang ang kailangan ko. Now, brothers and sisters, my dear friends, this was like 25 years ago already, okay? So, but still, 700 was very small. And I said, but ang liit? And she said, ano lang yan, Brother Bo? Monthly installment lang. Yun lang ang kaya ko. Pero biruin mo, Brother Bo, 700 pesos lang ang kailangan ko, hindi ko pa maibigay. And I said, wow. Do you know that when I heard that she said 700 pesos, do you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to pull out my wallet and said, and I wanted to tell her, 700 pesos lang pala kailangan mo. Ito, padasal-dasal pa tayo. I wanted to do that. I could not. I could not do that. You know why? Ask me why. I had 20 pesos in my wallet. And that I was happy, okay? But here I was, I wanted to help this person. I could not. So what did I do? I told her, Alika, dasalan kita. Because that's all I could do. I prayed for her, and after praying for her, she was teary-eyed. She said, "Thank you, Brother Bo." She turned around, she got the hand of her daughter, and she walked out of the room. But let me share this with you. Ang bagal niya maglakad. She was walking so slowly. It's like, oh, no. Do you know why she was walking slowly out of the room? Well, if you don't know, let me tell you the obvious. She was waiting. She was waiting for someone to give her some help. Someone she just told that she needed 700 pesos, and that was me, but I could not. And so it was so painful to see her walk out of that room. And finally, when she stepped out of the room, I sat down, and for the very first time in my life, I said a prayer. Do you know what prayer that was? I was 30 years old, first time I said that prayer. I said, God, for the sake of that woman and her daughter and everyone else like her, go ahead, make me rich. First time I said that prayer, make me rich. And then it was like a light bulb moment in my mind. That event, that experience transformed me 180 degrees because I realized that money was not bad. That at that moment, if I had 700 pesos, I could have helped that person. And then I said to myself, okay, I discovered that the ultimate purpose of money is to love other people. That was the ultimate purpose, singular purpose of wealth, that God could give it to us. And money is neutral. It can be bad, but it can be very good. It depends on who will hold it. Now, I'm going to ask you, 175 people here in Abbott, can I ask you this? I want to hallucinate you're good. I want to hallucinate you are a good person, and that if you hold the blessings of God in your hands, God's going to use you to bless other people. In fact, what I want you to do now, while listening to me, even just for 5, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, hold your hands like this and say, Lord, bless me so I can bless others. Go right ahead, say that. Say that with all your heart. Lord, bless me so I can bless others. That's the purpose of money. And you know, that kind of money, can I say this to you? I run orphanages now. I run homes for the aged. I have a home for the aged. We have one. It's called Anawim, a Hebrew word which means the poor of the Lord. We spend 1 million pesos a month, housing lolos and lolas that we pick up from the streets, abandoned by their families. There are 70 plus of them in a 5-hectare property, and it's been going on for 30 years. We've got the most amazing caregivers. We've got volunteers. We've got people caring for them, loving them. But you know what? We spend 1 million pesos a month just for their medicines and their hospital bills, etc. Just on the home for the aged. I'm not even talking about expenses for what? For our orphanage. I'm not even talking, we have a home for sexually abused children called Jeremiah. We have another home for pregnant women in crisis, preventing people, caring for pregnant women who have been, usually teenagers who are pregnant and they're forced out of their homes by their families, and we care for them. And we have an orphanage for babies, and we do so much work for the poor. And I'm telling you, all of that is run because there are good people who made a decision. Lord, bless me so I can bless others. Lord, bless me so I can bless others. It's as simple as that, being a channel of blessing to other people. And so today, what I want to share with you is something very simple. I'm going to share with you The 8 lessons that you need to learn so that you will become financially successful. What are these 8 lessons? Very briefly, I'm going to share them with you. And I pray that you are listening. I pray that you will take down notes. And let's make it happen. Okay. First thing is you've got to be responsible for your financial success. That's number one. Let me say that again. Write it down. Be responsible for your financial success. You cannot blame your poverty, your debt, kulang ang pera. You cannot blame that on your family, on your parents, or whoever. You cannot blame it on it's because of the government. Yes, the government has a role, but at the end of the day, you have the responsibility for your own financial success. And you've got to take it. You've got to embrace it. You've got to say, I'm in charge here. I'm in charge of my financial life. Kailangan angkinin mo. Kailangan angkinin mo. And I'll tell you, one of the things you've got to do is this. You've got to make a decision that, okay, I am where I am now in my finances because of me. You've got to embrace that. I am personally responsible for my financial success. The moment you do number one, you're ready for number two. What is number two? Number two is this. You've got to enlarge your psychological wallet. I repeat, you've got to enlarge your psychological wallet. What does that mean? You've got a money comfort zone. What is a money comfort zone? Saan ka komportable in terms of the amount of money you have? Let me give you an example. I meet people whose money comfort zone is, for example, 30,000 pesos. This person feels very uncomfortable if his money, her money, is lesser than 30,000. Let's say her money is only 20,000. Very uncomfortable. The moment her money reaches 30,000, she's happy. She's content. Here's the problem. What if she receives a big bonus and she has 50,000 pesos? Question. Answer me. How will she feel at 50,000 when her money comfort zone is 30,000? Now you will tell me, abay, Brother Bo, masaya siya. Might be on the outside. She's smiling. She's happy. Wow, I've got 50,000 pesos. But you know what? Internally, she's conflicted. Internally, there's a disquiet. Internally, there's a discrepancy. Internally, there's this awkwardness. Internally, this is what she's saying. And I'll say it in Tagalog. Parang hindi bagay sa akin ang 50,000. So do you know what she will do? Guess. She will, are you thinking what I'm thinking? She'll spend it. She'll spend it para 30,000 ulit ang pera niya. My dear friends, this happens again and again and again and again and again. Money comfort zone. You need to raise it up. You need to enlarge your psychological wallet. And the way to do that is to have dreams. We'll talk more about that later. But that's what you need to do. Enlarge your psychological wallet. Make a decision. Look at yourself right now. I want you to put your hands over your chest, if that's okay. If you're alone, or then that's wonderful. But even if you've got people around you, never mind. Don't mind them. Put your hands over your chest, and then say this with me. I'm a millionaire. Say that. I'm a millionaire. How does that feel? How does that feel? Does it make you feel was this your reaction? I'm a millionaire. It's not a joke. Say it like you mean it and like you believe it. You know what am I doing? I'm expanding your psychological wallet. I'm raising your money comfort zone, and I'm saying, no, you've got to see yourself as somebody who is blessed so that you can bless other people. Can I ask you this question? Have you ever experienced wanting to help someone, wanting to help someone, and you cannot help because you have no resources to help. You really, really want to help that person because you love that person or you feel compassion for that person. Wala kang maibigay kasi wala kang pambigay. Question. How painful is that? It's very painful. And what I'm sharing with you today is you've got to enlarge your psychological wallet. You've got to raise your money comfort zone so that you will have the ability to help people. Number 3. Secret number 3, Abbott family, is you've got to get rid of crazy religious beliefs. I've mentioned some already a while ago. Money is bad. I'm poor. You know, all of these things, you've got to get rid of them. Some of these are religious beliefs. To be close to God means I will be poor. God is pleased with poor people. God hates rich people. All of that you've got to throw into the trash can. And you've got to say, no, I need to change the way I think. My relationship with money has to become healthier. That's number 3. And let me just give you a little example. Can I share a little bit about my life, and then maybe it'll be clearer to you. So at the age of 30, I dove into the financial life, did not know anything about money, started studying about money, started studying about investing, started studying about entrepreneurship, put up my small businesses, failed many times, raised up, but finally succeeded in my small businesses. Today, can I just share this with you? I'm involved in so many ministries. I don't receive a salary from any of them because I've got my small businesses to support me. I've written 60 plus books. I donate all my author's royalties to the ministries. I don't need that, again, because I've got my small businesses to support me. When I give talks like this to companies, I charge a fee. Thank you, Abbott, for the speaker's fee. The speaker's fee, 100% donated to the ministry. Again, because I support myself through my own small businesses and my investments. And so that's the kind of life that I live. And it's a happy life. It's a wonderful life. It's a beautiful life. Once you know how to operate money, you can live a happy life. Again, you've got to break this belief system in your mind that says, oh, the moment you become rich, you will be far away from God. And no, I didn't experience that. In fact, what happened was as I grew in my wealth, I was able to give more. I was able to help more. I have employees now in my small businesses and I love it. I'm able to give jobs, I'm able to feed families. It's amazing. So just wanted to change the mindset, the thinking of people that actually you can be rich and be good. Be a good person. That's my point. And I pray that I was able to convince you. Are you ready for number 4? Number 4 is this: be totally committed to your dreams. Totally committed to your dreams. Let me give you my story. I was single, age 30, right? And I came home from a prayer meeting one day. And my mind was already changing. I was thinking, okay, I'm going to get married. So this is what happened. We were discussing in the prayer meeting a Bible verse from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30. And it just blew my mind, that one verse. Because in that verse, it said, God said, I have given you a choice between blessing and curse. Choose. I repeat, God said, I've given you a choice between blessing and curse. Choose. Can I ask you this question? If God were in front of you and if God said, I give you a choice, blessing or curse, what would you choose? Obviously, blessing. So I went home and I said, wow, I know that this is so obvious and it's such a simple truth, but Lord, oh, I always thought that blessing and curse falls from the sky and you have no control whatsoever. You're walking in the sidewalk and something hits your head and ouch, what's that? Oh, it's a blessing. Thank you. And then you're walking again and something hits your head. Ow, what's that? Oh, it's a curse. I always thought it's something like that, but then no, not all of it is like that. Some of it is like that. There are some things that we have no control whatsoever. They just fall from the sky. They hit you on the head. I had COVID, by the way, a few months ago. Didn't have any control there. It just hit me, and I almost died. That's for another talk, okay? But what I'm saying is not all of it is out of your control. There are some things in your life that's in your control. Take personal responsibility. And I said, okay, this is a responsibility I'm going to take. I'm going to write down every blessing I want. You said, Lord God, in your word, I'm going to choose a blessing. So I'm going to choose blessing. I'm going to write it down. I wrote down 15 pages of every blessing I wanted in my life. 15 pages. I said, I'm going to get married. It's going to be a wonderful marriage. And I'm going to be a great husband. I'm going to be a great father. I wrote other things there. And I wrote all sorts of goals and dreams there. It was wonderful. I wrote down there, I'm going to be a best-selling author. I'm going to have this. I'm going to have a ministry on Anawim, our ministry for the abandoned elderly. I wrote it all down, and I wrote down some financial goals also. It was amazing, just writing it down and saying, this is my goal. My dear friends, after this talk, after your work, maybe tomorrow, if you could just sit down and write down, you don't have to fill 15 pages. You can just have 1 page, 2 pages, I don't know. But start writing down what you want to happen in your life. You'll be shocked at the power of writing your dreams. Can I share this with you, what happened to me? What I did was, after writing it down, the next day I read it again, those 15 pages. The following morning, I read those 15 pages again. The following day, I read it again. I read it again every single day. Every single day, I would get those 15 pages. Part of my prayer life, prayer time, I would just read through them. And I prayed for them. I want you to know, 25 years later, 90% of all that I wrote down has come true. Has come true. And I really believe we underestimate our power, God-given power to fulfill our dreams. I think we've lost our confidence in fulfilling our dreams. The reason is this: many times we aim for something, and once it doesn't happen, we say it's the wrong dream. You know what? Maybe it's not the wrong dream. Maybe it's the wrong schedule. Maybe your deadline was too soon. But if you did not give up, and so I'm going to encourage you to start being totally committed to the dreams that God has planted in your heart. Can I move on to number 5? Number 5 is to raise up your financial IQ. Raise up your financial IQ. My friends, I hope I'm getting your attention here. Maraming tao matatalino. I have spoken, do you know that I have spoken to bishops? I have spoken to, my gosh, doctors, surgeons who do not know how to manage their money. Their financial IQ, very low. They're brilliant people, brilliant. Surgeon, for crying out loud. Engineers that build bridges. Financial IQ, very low. They don't know how money works. So do not be ashamed. If right now you're going to tell me, Brother Bo, I really don't know how money works. That's fine. Don't be ashamed of that. Admit it and say, I want to learn. I want to learn. Can you say that with me? I want to learn. I want to learn how money works. So the problem with a low IQ is this. For example, utang. How many of you have debt? I want to see a virtual hand. If you have debt, can I share this with you? Debt will always fight against your dream of becoming rich. Let me tell you why. The greatest magic in the world, do you know what it is? Albert Einstein said that the greatest magic in the world is compounded interest. Now, you might say, what? Albert Einstein said that? Yes, 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 yes. And so if you invest your money, compounded interest is your ally. But the moment you borrow, tapos may interest, you are making the greatest magic in the world, compounded interest, as your enemy. And I'm telling you, there are two kinds of debt, bad debt and good debt. Bad debt is you borrow to buy something, and that something does not put money in your pocket. That's bad debt. It's going to eat you alive. You will never become rich. Now, there's a good debt. Good debt is you borrow money to buy something, that something will put money in the pocket. So, for example, you see this nice property, rental property. You borrow money to buy that rental property, and that the rent is higher than the monthly amortization in the bank. Now, possible. You just have to know what you're doing, yes, there's a reasonable risk, but if you know what you're doing, you get a mentor, and you really make a good decision. I'm not saying that it's easy. It's not. All I'm saying is, if you know you've got a bad debt in your life, if your financial IQ is high, you want every bad debt to disappear from your life. So I'm going to ask you again, if you have debt, raise your hand, and I want you to claim this with me. All right? Are you ready? This is serious. This is very serious. Let's say it in Tagalog, and then let's say it in English. Okay? Tagalog first. Say this with me. Darating ang araw, wala na akong utang. Yes. Yes. Woohoo! You've got to make it a goal. You've got to make it a goal. Let's say it in English. I will be zero debt. I will have zero debt. I will have zero debt. One day, I will have zero debt. Darating ang araw, wala na akong utang. You've got to make it a goal. Now, when will that goal be? Depends on how much debt you have. Some of you, in less than 6 months, you'll be debt-free. Some of you, 2 years, 3 years. It does not matter. Have a goal and make a decision that one day all your debt will disappear, because you do not want the greatest magic in the world to be your enemy. You don't want that. That's what happens when you have debt. Insurance is a good thing if you know what you're doing. You need to have protection. Sometimes as Filipinos, we don't like insurance. Hindi ko naman gagamitin yan eh. That's the point. You buy it, but you don't want to use it. You don't want to die yet, right? But just in case, if you have dependents, if you have kids that depend on you, you need to get insurance, so that just in case something happens to you, God calls you home early, your kids will have a lump sum just to take care of them and just to transition them. So insurance is something that you've got to learn. What are the other things you've got to learn? You've got to learn about investments. But that brings me to number 6. Are you ready for what number 6 is? Number 6 is this: create multiple income streams. Do not depend only on one income stream, which is your salary. If you only have one income stream, you are standing on dangerous ground. Why? What if something happens? Anything can happen. No, you need to have 2 or 3 or 4. Like what? For example, you've got your salary. That's 1. You've got your investments. That's 2. Because if you are going to make, you know what, man, we have 2 phases in our financial life. 2 phases. Only 2 phases. Number 1, man working for money. That's phase 1. I repeat, Take down notes. Man working for money. That's phase one. You're doing that right now. You've got a great job. You've got a great company. Woohoo! Thank you, Lord. Man working for money. What is phase two? Phase two is money working for man. Simple, right? But brilliant. I want you to know success, it comes from simple truths. Repeat. Man working for money, that's phase one. Phase two is money working for man. Can I say this to you? When money works for you well, it does not take any day offs. No, 7 days a week, keeps on working. No lunch break. No, it just keeps on working. It just keeps on working. It's a great worker if you know what you're doing. And that's why I'm going to invite you to invest. You need to invest your money. How much of your money should you invest? Can I teach you? Okay. I have this abundance formula that I use, and I'm going to teach it to you. If you use this formula, you will reach abundance. What is the formula? Take this down. Take this down. Write it down. 10, 20. I'm sorry. Repeat. 100, 10, 20, 70. Repeat. 100, 10, 20, 70. That's the abundance formula. Let me explain. 100 means you earn 100%. You give 100% to your job. Serve with 100% of your passion and your dedication. You just earn as much as you can because you're giving as much as you can. 100%. What's 10? 10 is being generous. 10% of your income, be generous. Give to God. Give to the church. Give. Be generous. Give to the poor. What's 20? The magic sauce. 20% of your income you should invest for the future. Do you know this is the secret? Many people don't do it. But I'm telling you, this is the secret. I have taught thousands of people do this. It works. You know, one day I was with, this was years ago. This was about 12 years ago, okay? We had helpers at home, and 3 of them, and I had a driver, and I would gather them for a little prayer meeting at home. And then after prayers and after reading the Bible, etc., I would ask them, kumusta yung pera nyo? Nakakapag-ipon ba kayo? And, you know, they always tell me, Kuya, ubos na. Now, it's really funny, because it's not funny. That's not the word. It was interesting for me to hear them, Kuya, wala na. Because I prided myself 12 years ago that I was giving them a good salary, higher than what the average. I was giving about 7,000 pesos a month to our helper and a house assistant, whatever you call them. And I love them. They're part of our family. They really are. And I was saying, why? And so I taught them something very simple. I said, so I taught them a very simple system whereby, okay, you set aside what you're going to send to the province, to your family. That's very important. You need to have an emergency fund, because this is what happens to them. They tell me, Kuya, nagsisave naman kami, 1,000 a month, second month, 2,000 na yan, on the third month, 3,000 na yan. Kaya lang, Kuya, yung pamilya namin, ite-text kami, ate, may sakit si lolo, mamamatay na, magpadala ka naman ng 3,000. Kuya, eksakto yung hinihingi, ba't nila alam may 3,000 ako? I tell them, can you check? Baka may CCTV camera ka. We were just laughing and saying, my gosh. So I told them this, you need to have an emergency fund. Every 3 months they're gonna text you. May sakit si lolo after 3 months. May sakit si ate after 3 months. May sakit yung kalabaw. Whatever. I mean, Set aside an emergency fund. And by the way, I teach this to everybody. All of us needs to have an emergency fund of about 3 months or 6 months of our expenses set aside in the bank. But then I taught them that you have to set aside 20% of your income every month, and let's invest it in either mutual funds or the stock market. Now, why these two? Because these are two very simple places where you can put your money: mutual funds or directly into the stock market. Mutual funds can also be part of the stock market, by the way, except that there's going to be a fund manager who will manage the funds. You don't need to buy the individual stocks, but you can also go directly to the stock market and buy individual stocks. You can buy the companies, the gigantic companies. By the way, there are 250 plus companies in the stock market. You can just choose the top 10, top 20 companies and put your money there on a regular basis every single month, 20% of your income. Today, two of my helpers are now millionaires. People are shocked when I say that, but it took 12 years. But two of my helpers, one has 1.7 million, the other one has 1.2 million. It's amazing. It really is. It works. People don't understand that this works, but it really does. I need to move on because I'm running out of time. Um, Number 7, have a bias for action. You hear a talk like this and you say, yes, kaya ko yan. I want to be a millionaire. I can do this. And then after 2 weeks, what happened? Nothing. Unless you make a move, unless you make a decision, unless you say, I'm going to get a mentor, unless I'm going to attend a seminar, whatever, say, I'm going to read a book, I'm going to do something. Unless you do something, nothing will happen. You've got to have a bias for action. And here's number 8. Number 8, you've got to win in all areas. You've got to be able to win in every area of your life, not just in the area of your finances. Why? Let me end with this. I want you to have success, happiness, abundance in your life. But you see, success is not just limited to money. You know that very well. You can have all the money in the world and still be very miserable. I'm not. I'm happy. And it's not because of the money. I'm happy because I'm a happy person. um, I've made a decision a long time ago. I was going to give my life to God. To this day, I'm still a missionary, just a different kind. I'm married, got a family. I'm an entrepreneur, um, but I'm happy. And I'm inviting you to pray with me at this time to close this message. If you have any questions, feel free. We're going to have a Q&A in a while. But I just want to close in a prayer, if that's okay. I want you to pray with me right now and just say, I open my life to you. Bless me. Fill my life with everything that you want to give to me. Say that with me. I receive every blessing that you want to give to me. Help me to be a blessing to others. Use me to be a blessing. Amen and amen. Yay! That's wonderful. Give God a big hand. Celebrate. That's wonderful. Okay, let's see if we have some questions. Feel free to ask. Woohoo! Are there questions? Oh, sorry for that. Clyde, what's 70? I forgot. 100 means give 100% of your talents, your skills, your passion, your dedication to your work. 10% is you give to be generous. Invest on 20% of your income, always 20% of your income. 70 is 70%. Live on 70%. Now, I know some people will tell me, naku, Brother Bo, I cannot live on 70% of my income. I live on 110%. May utang pa. I cannot. And I tell them this. Once upon a time, your salary was much smaller, but you lived on it. What happened? Now it became a little bit big. Why can you not live in it? Here's why. You've got two lines in your life, the income line and the expense line. And many times when the income increases, the expense also increases. And what you need to do is discipline yourself that when your income increases, your expenses don't increase a lot so that the margin, the gap between income and expense, that's what you do to be generous and for your future investments so that you'll be able to experience what my two helpers have experienced. And we've helped thousands of people. By the way, if you need any of our help, we have a club. It's called the Truly Rich Club. You can go to www.trulyrichclub.com, and that's a club that we formed. Oh, when did we do that? Gosh, 15 years ago. We've been helping thousands. We give seminars. You can, I give guidance on what stocks to buy. If you become a member, a gold member of our club, I send to you 2 emails a month telling you what stocks I personally buy. And I say, well, that's what I buy. That's what I bought this month, and that's what I will be buying this month. And if you want to, you can. I mean, it's up to you. So it's really for people who don't want to think so much because they're busy, and they said, just tell me what to buy. But it's been working. It's been wonderful. Yeah. Any other questions? Thank you, Maxwell. Great question. The question is, anong masasabi niyo po sa pandemic? Matatapos din pa po ba ito? And of course, nobody knows, yes, but wanted to hear your inputs. Maxwell, and to everybody here in the Abbott family, the pandemic, my personal opinion, is that this will continue and that normal, when they say the new normal, at least like when we can go around and the stores and the malls and the restaurants are open, and there will be religious gatherings again, and there will be sports gatherings again. I'll tell you, things are going back to normal in other countries. I have a friend in Spain, and she says it's almost normal here. Almost. And I have got some friends in the U.S. Same thing, though the COVID cases still are going up. Let me give you an attitude that I have. My attitude is this: I'm not gonna wait for things to go back, for my life to be happy and prosperous. I say this to all my friends. You're my new friends now, so I'll tell you. Don't wait for the pandemic to be over to be happy and prosperous. Prosper now. Be happy now. Find a way to be happy and prosperous now while the pandemic is going on. I know it's crazy. I know it's tough. I'm having a tough time. But I've made a decision. I'm going to control what I can control. Tapos yung mga bagay-bagay na hindi ko makontrol, I surrender to God. So any kind of worry I have, any kind of anxiety, I surrender. I can't control it, I surrender. I cannot control the virus, I surrender. I cannot control, what the government will do. I can't, so I surrender. But what can I control? This. I can control my attitude. I can control my decisions. I can control my habits. I walk every morning now. I bike every afternoon. I go under the sun, get vitamin D. I work on my marriage. I've got a beautiful, beautiful 23-year-old marriage. My wife is 50 years old, but to me, she is 24, and she's beautiful because I met her when she was 24. and I love her more than I've ever loved her before. That's what I can control. My attitude. We have weekly dates. Do you know that I have weekly dates with my wife for the past 23 years? Um, that's what I'm saying. You've got to make a decision to be happy and to be prosperous now in this pandemic. Oh, by the way, do you know that the best time to invest is when the stock market is down? The pandemic, the moment the pandemic is over, our stock market will go up. It will go up to the moon. So why not invest now habang may pandemic pa? And it really is. That's basically the point. I can go on and on, but I don't want to keep on talking. Okay, let me share. Let me give you another question here. Um, okay, were you taught that people with money were selfish, greedy, or sinful? Maybe I was not taught, but it was like chatter, and I kind of like got contaminated by that kind of thinking that mga negosyante yan, and so ako, I'm prayerful, I'm reading the Bible, and I go to church, and sila, wow, they're always thinking about money. So that's how I grew up. And of course, that had to change because now I meet people who are wonderful, wonderful entrepreneurs and great investors, but are also serving God and giving their life to the Lord and have great marriages and saying, wow, it does not, all that thinking and all that chatter was wrong. I've got another question here. What's your best advice to us during this pandemic? How can we manage our financial with savings? What's the best stocks to buy for those who would like to try it out? I will recommend this, that why not start with the blue chip stocks? Why not, right? Because these are giants. And so, the malls are closed. Well, they're not closed, but have you ever been to malls right now, especially during the lockdown? There are very few people, the stores. So what I'm saying is that many of the blue chip stocks, when you say blue chips, these are the gigantic, gigantic, gigantic companies in the Philippines. They're still waiting, and their earnings are bad, because business is slow, and so it will be wonderful to get into them now so that they will start rising, right? I'll recommend that to you. But then I do invite you, don't go in blindly. Why don't you join our seminar? Um, when's our next one? This coming October. This coming October, we're giving one. And why don't you follow my Facebook page, okay? And you'll be able to get an announcement from there. My Facebook page is Brother Bo Sanchez. Facebook.com/Brother Bo Sanchez. Follow me there, and you'll get daily short videos, short ones, just to inspire you, encourage you for the day. It's called Full Tank. Watch that every day. And then get an invitation to one of our financial seminars. Um, it will bless your life. Yes. Any inputs on the upcoming elections? Maybe guidance for voters and peer people to make better decisions for the sake of our children and children's children. I don't want to be partisan here, but I do pray that you vote with your conscience. I do pray that you research and you think on your own feet, and yes, be able to vote thinking about your kids and saying, um, I really want to give them better leaders. We just have to make that prayerful decision for our country. If you will only need to choose one to invest, real estate or stocks, what would it be? Chris, I invest in both. Okay, real estate, stocks. I have a little cryptocurrency. I have mutual funds. I have businesses. All of those. But because I've started my investment journey a long time ago. But if you're gonna tell me what will I start with, I probably will start with stocks because they're easier to learn. They're easier to learn because I I I read, I get guidance. Um, You could become a member of the Truly Rich Club and get the guidance right away, and then you can buy the stock. And however, there is only one exception. If you have a good mentor in real estate, and somebody that's going to guide you and lead you in that path, then that's fine. That's fine. But I still think that the stock market is a much easier game for people to learn. I say game. I'm sorry if it's flippant, but for me, it's something fun. You realize that it's a fun thing. I do not trade. I do not trade. I invest for the long term because I have no time, and I want to focus on my small businesses. So I hope that's that's for yeah. I think I've really run out of time, but last questions. Do you recommend Forex trading as part of your income stream? Aleli, let me be honest with you. I don't touch Forex because it is too volatile. It is just too volatile. It's crazy. So I don't touch Forex because what's going to happen is I need to kailangan bantayan ko eh. And I don't have time. So I don't touch it. There. I'd rather be a long-term investor.
Brother Bo,
Yes.
I think we've run out of time.
Thank you.
We would like to ask 100 questions more, but basically, you'd also want to value, of course, your time you've been spending answering questions. So, in behalf of the whole ARDX Philippines, we'd like to say thank you for sharing your life experiences and also being a shining hope in these trying times. You gave more than just the financial advice. And would like to say thank you for your team for setting this up. We hope to have you soon back again. And we'd like to say thank you to all those that attended the webinar. And of course, good night. And thank you so much, Brother Bo Sanchez. Be
Thank you,
blessed
Sheena. Thank you,
continuously.
everybody.